I am having a hard time with the idea that this conversation and the backlash is primarily about people's disdain for classism, because I don't even think people really have an issue with classism. That's the thing. I don't think people generally have a problem with elitism, as long as they're not on the outside. You have a problem with a woman you think is too old, not pretty enough, too aggressive, saying, this is my boundary, this is my line. That's it. It is not about protecting working class Black men. It is about punishing quote unquote uppity Black women. And that's why I don't give a fuck. All of a sudden, everybody want to be a champion of the working class. All right, sure.
There it is again, our favorite educated four. Instead of an educated lame, we start calling them educated fours. They try to make themselves pretty. Well, when she puts on makeup, she actually looks like a 5. I have to give her credit. She can upgrade. But anyway, there she is trying to crap on Black men, especially lower class Black men. And I wouldn't have a problem with it, except that who you appeal to are not your own class. It's like Ebony K. Williams. Who she's talking to is not women in her own class. She's talking to women that are lower class, because they try to do this flat blackness when it comes to class, right? That's like Mariana Van Zandt called Ebony K. Williams. She tried to do this flat blackness, this flat classness, as far as Black women are concerned. When she talked about men, especially Black men, not showing up in the leadership or not getting a certain amount of money that they think that men should make. So Mariana Van Zandt says, would you date a bus driver? In other words, regardless of the money that he makes, can you find a partner? Can you find a husband? Can you find somebody to be with? Because if a man's in your class, he already makes the money. He's already a leader. He already does all those things. But can you get that guy? There's guys out there, even Miss Foster. There's men out there that's everything that you want. They got the money, they got the success, they got the leadership, they got the education, they got all that stuff. But do they pick you? That's the problem. So you give this flatness, this flat blackness, when it's convenient. Like we talk about colorism and lookism and hair and all that kind of stuff. You're not talking to upper class Black men. You're talking to lower class Black men. You're talking to lower class Black women, because that's where your support comes from. Because trust and believe, Brittany Renner is not talking about lower class men when she talks about men. And she actually says that. She identifies who she is and what class that she's in, and the kind of guys that she's after, because she can get them. Unlike you can't get those guys. So you have to drop down, which pisses you off, which is why you try to shit on regular Black men, which is why Ebony K. Williams got put in her place. You're going to speak for yourself, speak for yourself. And you should have said, just like women want their qualifier, not all, right? I'm talking about upper class Black men. I'm talking about professional Black men. I'm not talking about bus drivers not showing up to the leadership or not earning enough money, because for their class, bus driver makes more than enough money. He's more than enough of a leader. He's more than enough of a husband and a partner, whatever you want to call him. More than enough. Ebony K. Williams, even a bus owner, would not be enough for you. That was a lie. You kept your mouth shut. Same thing about Miss Foster. No man has a problem with class, okay? With a female that's upper class, that's too expensive, he's going to bypass her. He's not going to cuss her out. He's going to know that you're upper class, you're too bougie, I can't afford nor handle you. Nor would he want to. You're mad, and women like this are mad because you can't qualify for the man that you want. 9 times out of 10, most women, when they complain, it's not that they don't get any attention, or they don't get men that come at them, or men that they don't get offers. They don't get offers from the men that they want, or they have all these qualifiers. Remember, I was looking at this dating coach talk about women don't have lists. Yes, they do. They always have lists. Men have lists. Men don't have as long a list, but they do have one. Women have a long list about what they want. Every time a woman says, I don't have a list, I said, okay, give me your top 10 of which qualifications for a man that you want. Anything. And they always say that by the time I get them going, they've blown past the 10. They're into the 20s. I have to remind them to stop. I said, I thought you only had 10 or less. They do. But it's always the men that they don't qualify for in their class. And I see women like Miss Foster all the time. You're trying to qualify for a man that doesn't want you. You can't compete in your own class. That's your problem. At least the guys know. Say the so-called, the educated guys that can't compete in their class, they'll drop down. They'll happily drop down. Now, they may run into a problem when they have to run into Pookie or Ray Ray and fight him over Pookie and Ray Ray's woman that's in his class. They might have to do that, and they get their feelings hurt when they think that their education and maybe even their money is more superior to the guy that's on the ground that understands that woman. That's when their feelings get hurt. But they will drop down and try to get Pookie and Ray Ray's woman. They will. Whereas women like Kim Foster will drop down. They'll get a Pookie and Ray Ray, get a working class guy, but they'll hide him and they'll make fun of him and they'll be embarrassed by him. But they don't. But the thing is, they can't do any better, so they have to settle for what they can get. So they settle in secret. That's what they do. They settle in secret. Anyway, I was just jumping in because I heard Mr. Z talk about this and talk about one of his favorite 4's, Miss Kim Foster, and about her classism. Now, women don't mind classism or hypergamy, but lookism, colorism, they're definitely on it. They're definitely on it. And when we call them out, I said, well, we have a right to our preferences. But you don't have a right to yours, because how come you don't like a dark woman? Or how come you don't like a woman that's a 4? Or a woman, you don't take a woman's education into consideration? Preferences for me, but not for thee, right? Anyhow, that's all I got for this one. This is BGS out, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.